What if I told you that the purest truth doesn't come when someone is staring you in the eyes, but when you turn your back? Not in the heat of an argument, not in the sweetness of reconciliation, but in that quiet space, when you stop calling, stop explaining, stop showing up, and simply walk away. No closure, no fireworks, just stillness. It's in that sacred stillness that masks begin to crack, that the unspoken truths come crawling to the surface. Because silence, my friend, is the most honest conversation you'll ever have. Carl Jung once said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." Now apply that to everyone you know, to everyone who promised to be there and vanished, to everyone who said, "I care," but only when you were useful. It's in your absence that their truth is born. Because when you stop dancing for their comfort, you finally hear the music of their soul. Let's get real. You've given people more than they deserved, and you stayed longer than you should have. Why? Because you thought they'd see your heart. You thought your loyalty would matter. You thought that if you were kind enough, patient enough, loving enough, they'd change, but they didn't. And the worst part, they made you feel like the problem. You were too emotional, too needy, too intense, too much. So you shrank. You compromised. You bent over backward for their comfort, and still it was never enough. You stopped speaking up to avoid conflict. You apologized for things you didn't do. You carried guilt that wasn't yours. You kept giving time, energy, love, forgiveness. But when you needed just a fraction of what you gave, they went silent, or worse, they weaponized your kindness. Does that feel familiar? Because if it does, know this: you're not crazy, you're not broken, you're just waking up. And that awakening always starts the same way, with a whisper inside that says, "This isn't love." Carl Jung devoted his life to understanding the human psyche, not the surface, not the facade, but the truth buried deep inside us all. He coined the term persona, the mask we wear to survive in society, the curated self, the agreeable version of us others find digestible. But Jung warned that behind every mask is a shadow, not evil, not demonic, but repressed, hidden, forgotten. And here's the catch. Most relationships are built on the persona, not the truth. People love the version of you that makes them feel good, the one who always listens, who never complains, who never challenges. But the moment you speak your truth, the moment you stop being a mirror for their ego, they call you difficult, selfish, dramatic, but really you're just becoming whole. Jung said wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration. So what happens when you start integrating? You threaten their illusion, and they either evolve with you or fall away. That's not your fault. That's nature. That's evolution. That's truth. If this is resonating with you, if you feel seen right now, you're not alone. This isn't just a script. It's a mirror, a voice you've buried, a truth you've tried to silence. But the fact that you're still here, still listening, it means something inside you is waking up. So pause for a moment, breathe, feel that energy shift. That's clarity, that's courage. If this video is giving language to what you couldn't say, drop a comment, tell your story. Let someone else know they're not the only one. And if you want more of this, subscribe. Because this isn't entertainment, it's healing, it's coming home. Here's where it gets wild. When you finally walk away, they'll panic, not because they loved you deeply, but because their supply is gone. You were a mirror for their best self. You gave them attention, affection, a sense of control, and now you're just gone. No fight, no chase, just gone. That silence screams louder than any argument. It forces them to confront a reality they were never prepared for, that you were the one holding it all together, that their power was borrowed, not earned. But they won't tell you that. Instead, they'll twist the narrative. They'll say, "You abandoned me. You gave up. You changed, and you did. You evolved. You grew tired of bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand you a band-aid. This is the twist. The moment you stop explaining yourself is the moment they start explaining you to others. They'll project, they'll smear, they'll play the victim, but you'll know the truth, and that truth will set you free. Let me offer you a tool, something small but powerful. Next time you feel tempted to text them, to check in, to explain why you walked away, pause, open a journal and write this: I choose my peace over their chaos. Repeat it like a mantra. I choose my peace over their chaos. Then ask yourself, did they ever choose your peace? Or did they only show up when they needed something? Write down 3 times you betrayed your own needs to please them. See it in ink. Feel it in your bones. Then write 3 things you've gained since walking away. Maybe it's better sleep, a calmer mind, the return of your creativity, the absence of anxiety. Those aren't small things, they're everything. Because when you walk away from the wrong people, you don't lose love, you make space for it. And now you've crossed the threshold, you've seen behind the curtain, you've witnessed their truth and yours. It hurts. Of course it does. Grieving someone who's still alive is one of the most confusing forms of grief there is. But hear me, you're not grieving them. You're grieving the story you told yourself about them, the potential, the fantasy, the hope. That's okay. Let yourself feel it. Cry, scream, write letters you'll never send, and then let it go. Because what you're gaining is so much greater than what you've lost. You're gaining your clarity, your power, your truth. Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And sometimes that privilege requires sacrifice. Sometimes it means burning bridges to light your way forward, not out of spite, but out of necessity. You're not meant to carry dead weight. You're meant to soar. So, what now? Now, you live. You stop watering dead plants. You stop begging people to choose you. You stop auditioning for roles you were never cast in. You walk away from manipulation, away from conditional love, away from people who only show up when it's convenient. You walk into the unknown, into silence, into discomfort, into freedom. And in that silence, you'll find you, not the mask, not the people pleaser, not the fixer, but the real you. The one who speaks her truth without shaking, the one who sets boundaries without guilt, the one who is finally beautifully whole. Jung was right. You are what you do, not what you say, not what you hope, not what you dream, what you do. So do this, walk away, and watch everything fall into place. If this spoke to you, if it cracked something open inside, don't let that feeling fade. Let it guide you. Let it grow you. Let it free you. Like this video if it gave you truth. Comment if you've walked away and what you saw when you did. And subscribe. Not just for more videos, but for more you. This is your space now. A place for truth, for healing, for becoming. Until next time, walk in truth. And never settle for less than your soul deserves.